Edwin had always trusted the facade of normalcy that his sleek, futuristic workplace offered. The towering glass edifice of Novodyne Corporation, with its gleaming corridors and hushed whispers of boardroom triumphs, was his universe, until one fateful midnight changed everything. Discovery in the shadows. It began with a quiet anomaly in the server logs. Working late to complete an urgent project, Edwin noticed files hidden deep within the corporation's restricted database, tagged with cryptic codes and dates that didn't match any known schedule. His curiosity, usually tamed by methodical rationality, now roiled with unease. The files referenced something called Project Erebus, a name that evoked images of ancient underworlds and unspeakable horrors. When he cross-referenced the project timeline with corporate memos, a pattern emerged: strange delays, unexplained absences from key personnel, and an ever-growing list of suppressed complaints from those who had glimpsed the project's secretive operations. Into the abyss. Compelled by a mixture of trepidation and determination, Edwin began to piece together the fragmented data. Late evenings turned into feverish nights of coding and decoding as he painstakingly uncovered layers of encrypted files. What he discovered chilled him to the core. Novodyne wasn't developing a new AI or preparing for a technological breakthrough. Instead, they were experimenting on something far darker, an unearthly force captured from an astronomical anomaly. The project files detailed unauthorized experiments aimed at harnessing energy from what scientists called the Veil, an interdimensional breach through which something ancient and malevolent seeped into their world. The horrifying truth. As Edwin delved deeper, the nature of the experiments became unambiguously horrifying. The corporation had constructed a covert laboratory beneath their headquarters where disembodied sounds echoed off cold metal corridors. Security footage, patched together from corrupted archives, showed employees in sealed containment units undergoing bizarre, invasive procedures. They weren't just tampering with energy, they were attempting to merge human consciousness with the unknown presence from the breach, believing that by doing so, they could gain unfathomable knowledge and power. Instead, they were summoning a force that warped reality, blurring the lines between science and nightmare. Flickering visions of otherworldly silhouettes and tendrils of shadow that moved with sentient intent began to haunt the video feeds. Descent into madness. Haunted by the revelations, Edwin grew increasingly paranoid. Every whisper in the sterile halls of Novodyne morphed into a voice from beyond. His dreams turned into horrifying reenactments of unspeakable experiments, colleagues pleading silently for mercy as their eyes glazed over, replaced by a reflection of something far darker. The corporation's CEO, a shadowy figure whose public persona was one of unyielding confidence, had been complicit in these abominable acts. Edwin's investigation revealed that he was not the first to notice the disturbing experiments. A discreet network of whistleblowers had assembled evidence, and some had vanished without a trace after questioning the nature of Project Erebus. The confrontation. Driven by a morbid blend of fear and responsibility, Edwin resolved to expose Novodyne. He gathered irrefutable evidence, a montage of corrupted video streams, confidential emails, and machine logs that narrated the gradual descent into lunacy that had gripped the laboratory below. One stormy evening, under flickering neon lights and the patter of relentless rain against the city's glass facade, he made his way to the hidden entrance of the underground lab. What he found was a nightmarish amalgamation of science and occult. The room was lit by a sickly, pulsating glow emanating from a colossal chamber at its center, where a swirling vortex of darkness churned incessantly. Scientists, their expressions a mix of fanatic devotion and disoriented terror, encircled the breach like moths drawn to a flame, their eyes reflecting the abyss itself. Unleashing the darkness. In that moment of grim revelation, the air trembled with an unworldly resonance. Edwin's every instinct screamed to flee, yet he knew his life depended on what he had to do. With trembling hands, he activated a device he had secretly built, a digital beacon encoded with the incontrovertible proof of Novodyne's transgressions. The beacon, designed to broadcast the horrifying truth to the world, was now his only hope against the unspeakable force clawing at the edges of reality. As he transmitted the data, the vortex pulsed and the lab's power systems began to overload, unleashing a cacophony of shrieking alarms and guttural sounds that defied human language. The ancient presence answered the call, its dark tendrils stretching forth to reclaim the secrets it had nearly been bound to. The aftermath. In the ensuing chaos, the corporation's monstrous ambitions burst into the public sphere as the broadcast spread through every digital channel. The evidence was incontrovertible, a glimpse into a horror beyond human control. News outlets, emergency services, and government bodies scrambled to contain the fallout, while Novodyne's highest echelons desperately tried to silence further exposure. Edwin, now a pariah and reluctant hero, vanished into the labyrinth of urban decay, forever marked by the terror he had witnessed. Yet his actions ignited a global reckoning, forcing humanity to confront not only the consequences of unchecked scientific ambition, but the chilling possibility that some doors, once opened, cannot be closed. In the cold light of day that followed the storm of revelations, questions lingered like a heavy fog. What had truly been unleashed from the breach? And was humanity, in its insatiable quest for progress, destined to forever dance on the razor's edge between enlightenment and eternal darkness? The answers, obscured by a veil of cosmic horror, remained locked away in the remnants of a shattered corporation and in the nightmares of a man who dared to uncover them.